Good day, everyone. How are you all doing? Hope you're all doing great. Feeling groovy, realizing that the government really doesn't love you, and also realizing that pretty much everything you've been told since the day you were born is a lie. It is August the 5th of 2025, 1:15 p.m. Mr. Buzz coming to you from the communist shithole known as Ontario, Canada. If you get anything out of this video, all I ask is please give me a thumbs up. And let's get to the very dark topic, alcohol. That's not necessarily a dark topic for everybody, because some people are able to drink socially and keep it under control. It never causes them any problems. They use it as a, like I say, a social thing now and then or whatever. Well, I wasn't very good at that. Not only was I not very good at that, I drank enough alcohol to float this house that I'm living in. I mean, you could float the Titanic in the amount of booze that I drank. When I tell you I drank a lot, you probably still don't understand what I mean by that. I mean, I amazed real hardcore alcoholics who are twice my size, so much that some of them challenged me to drinking contests to see who could drink who under the table. The worst one I ever did lasted 3 days before we both surrendered because we thought we were going to die. We drank straight for 3 days, nonstop, for 72 hours. And a friend of his actually owned a hotel and gave us a free hotel room for the last day of it, so we could have this nice hotel room to drink in. And everybody thought it was the funniest thing was us having this drinking contest. He was like 6'5" or 6 or something. He was a foreman on an oil rig. He was a great big guy. I was half his size. But he knew I could drink. This is in Newfoundland where, I mean, that's all they do there is drink. And this was arranged. People watching me drink in the bar. I drank the bar dry of draft one day. I mean, I literally drank it dry. They ran out and they're like, "What do you mean you got no more draft?" And they all pointed to me. Blame him. He drank it all. That is true. So they're like, "Oh, you think you can drink? Okay, well, you're going to have to go against this guy, Doug." He was the biggest drinker in the town, so they put me up against him. And after 3 days, we called it a draw. I could drink. Let me tell you, I could drink. There's something weird about me. For my size, I never should have been able to put the amount of booze in me that I did. I mean, when I was like 15, I was drinking a 40-ouncer of whiskey myself. The whole 40-ouncer. How many 15-year-olds you know who could do that? And not only drink the whole thing, walk and talk straight as can be. Not even, maybe a little stagger here and there once in a while. But I could put it away, let me tell you. So if anyone knows drinking, believe me, I do. Am I promoting it? No, I'm not trying to make it sound appealing or anything. It's a terrible thing to do to yourself. I'm just very lucky that the Lord kept me alive through it all. And I spent most of my life in denial. Because I could do that, and I mean I could do that every day and still go to work, and I never got fired for being drunk or missing time. I went to work every day on time, did my job. I got promoted to manager at a furniture place I worked at while I was drunk. I was loaded. And the boss pulled me in the office. And he's like, "Man, you're doing such a great job. We're going to give you your own store. We're going to promote you to manager." I was loaded out of my mind. He had no idea. No one did. No one could tell. So that's what you call a functioning alcoholic. And if you're one of those, you might be in denial. You might not even admit you are an alcoholic because you can perform just fine. I'm here to tell you that isn't permanent. That deteriorates eventually. Now, I'm a weird guy that way. It's the scientists want to study two people to see what's going on, Keith Richards and me, because what he did with heroin and cocaine and everything, I did with alcohol. I mean, you just can't imagine. And it's since the age of like 10. Okay, I started drinking when I was really young, stealing booze from my parents, and the tolerance was always there, like right off the bat. I think the very first time I got drunk, I could handle it well. So there was just something weird about me. That's not regular for people. That's really unusual. So now, I'm not just trying to make this all about me, but I'm the best example of going into denial about your alcoholism that I can think of, because I spent my whole life in denial like that. People would say, man, you're an alcoholic. But no, I'm not an alcoholic. And every now and then I would stop for a little bit just to prove. And that was weird too, because I didn't go into DTs when I was young, and I'd stop. No DTs, which, if you don't know what that means, it's delirium tremens. That means you're physically addicted to the alcohol and you're suffering its withdrawal syndrome. Delirium tremens are nasty. You will shake, you will shudder, you will see the spirit realm, you will convulse, go into seizures. It is absolutely horrific and can kill you. Okay, it's very severe. If you're into DTs, that means you really need to stop drinking, for sure. And you have to do it with medical assistance, because just stopping cold turkey, once you're in too far, you'll die. You'll die or suffer such a bad time that, believe me, you want medical assistance. So being a functioning alcoholic, you'll go into denial. And as long as your boss is still happy with you, maybe your wife isn't really concerned, everybody, you're the only one maybe that knows the extent of what you're doing. Do you drink in the morning as soon as you're awake? I definitely did that. Every single day that I was a hardcore drinker, I could get up out of bed and grab a beer right away and just down it, like whiskey for breakfast, beer for breakfast, wine for breakfast. Champagne was actually probably my favorite, but very expensive, so I didn't have that all the time. I mean, I had a love affair with alcohol. Just a total, absolute love affair with it. I love the taste of it. I love the feel of it. I love the way it greases conversations. I mean, there was nothing about it I didn't like. And if you're a person who's lucky enough to not get hangovers, well, maybe that's not lucky, because getting hangovers will stop you from drinking. So I didn't get hangovers. I mean, I've had a couple in my life, but in general, no such thing as a hangover for me. I can drink 7 days a week, feel great. I've always been like that. People get mad at me because they're like hungover, sick the next day, throwing up, and I'm just smiling, have another beer. People get really mad. So, some people are in that camp, and they're the ones that are in real trouble, actually. I'll tell you that for sure. Alcohol's a sneaky thing, and it will fool you. It will make you think you're just fine and you can handle it and everything's good. Then all of a sudden, there's a reason why you need to stop drinking, maybe, and then you realize, uh-oh, I can't get it in my mind. I'm miserable, I'm depressed. That's what happened to me. I'm going to be honest, that's what's still happening to me. I totally went cold turkey back in December, made it a few months, and then started drinking a little bit here and there again. And now I'm struggling with it again. So this is what happens. If you're an alcoholic, you're an alcoholic for the rest of your life. You're not going to be, I used to be an alcoholic, now I'm fine. That's not the case. It doesn't work that way. Alcoholism is a lifelong problem that will never go away. You can learn to manage it and not drink, but you'll always be an alcoholic, no matter what. Now, I've never done AA or anything like that. I can't recommend or talk against it because I don't know. I know some people have had success with it, and other people say it's a cult and don't go near it. So I don't talk about a place like that unless I have first-hand knowledge, and I don't of that. So maybe that's a option for you if you're one of these people I'm talking about. Now let's go down the ladder a little bit. Maybe not a full-on, full-blown alcoholic like I just described myself. Maybe it's just starting to increase a little bit. It depends on your social life sometimes. Your social life picks up, and the people you're socializing with, they're drinking. Or maybe you've joined a pool league. That was a big one for me. I joined a pool league, and my drinking increased. Because now we're in pool halls all the time, and what do you do when you play pool? You drink your face off. That's what we all did. And I could get drunk as can be, and that's when I started to play well, actually. Plus, I'm a musician, playing in bars. Guess what I did while I was playing in bars? I hardly ever have any money to take with me because I drink every cent that they paid me to play in the bar. Almost every time. That's what I did. So your social life can increase your drinking real quick. And it creeps up. I mean, I know this from experience, how it creeps up and gets worse and worse and worse. Not only myself, but all my friends that I hung out with back then, we all, even though I drank the most of everybody, they were pretty hardcore drinkers too. And with some of them, they didn't handle it as well, and they, lose their girlfriends or wives. Some of them lost jobs because of it. Some of them had car accidents. Drinking and driving is another absolute scourge. Something I've not done. I'm not a drunk driver at all. When I would drink, I would just forget driving altogether. I'd take a cab or get someone else, or I could walk or whatever. You didn't see me driving a car. That's something I was never into. So if you think it's okay to have that couple of drinks and then drive your car, that your luck's going to run out on that too. All these things are temporary. If you're lucky for a while, the luck runs out. Almost everyone I know who did that from time to time ended up getting caught. And the penalties are just wicked now. So please do not drink and drive. If you do drink, okay, whatever, but just don't drive your car. That is the stupidest thing you could do. And if you're a person who loses their mind when they get drunk, like some people do, and they don't know what they're doing anymore, they act really, really immature, and they fall around, and they're sloppy drunks, I call them. That was never me for sure. But some of my friends, they were sloppy, and that causes so much trouble. You got to know your own limits and know yourself. And as soon as you do that once, you get real sloppy and cause some problems. Or if it gets your temper going, alcohol will just fire some people up, and the next thing they want to fight. If you do anything like that even once, it means you're prone to it. It means you need to take a very close look at what you're doing. Because alcohol is the number one problem substance on this earth. People would say it's fentanyl, and it's this, and it's cocaine, blah, blah, blah. No. It's alcohol. It's the one that's legal almost everywhere. The only places it's really illegal, like in some Muslim countries and things like that, where very strict laws, they will actually ban alcohol. Which, if they're going to ban any substance, I don't know why they don't ban that one everywhere. They'd be better off to give weed to the world and get rid of alcohol. Alcohol is an evil, bad substance that does nothing but cause violence, adultery, child abuse, and child neglect. And we can just go on and on and on. It causes so many vehicular deaths. It is unbelievable the damage that alcohol causes. There's no other substance that causes near as much. Booze is the biggest problem on the earth. Totally. So don't take it lightly if you're starting to drink too much. And maybe it seems fun, and of course it is. I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't fun. But I ended up really paying big time for my boozing ways. Just the money itself. I spent enough money, I could buy my own house. If I wouldn't have drank all that, yeah, I drank a few houses, guaranteed. I probably drank three pretty big 2-story houses. That's about what I drank. I mean, it's just astronomical. And especially if you're going to bars all the time, which it was a period that's all I did every night. It was tough to get the money for it, but did what I had to do to get it, and I didn't steal or anything, but I always figured out a way to get money. And that was all I lived for. It was all about drinking. What are we doing today? If we're not drinking, I don't even want to be alive today. That's how my attitude was every day. So you got to take a look at your own situation, your own habits, the frequency, the amount. There's different checklists. You find them online to see if you're a problem drinker. You become a problem drinker, then you become a real problem drinker, and then you become a full-blown alcoholic. And a full-blown alcoholic is physically addicted, so needs to drink. I'm sure you've seen somebody like this in the morning trying to get a drink into them so they can stop shaking. I never got to that point. I don't know how I didn't, but I never did. I can stop anytime and no DTs. I've never really had DTs. I've had just the very beginning of them that I knew I was getting to that point, but I'm lucky. I'm just lucky. The Lord had his hand on my shoulder or something to get me through it. And even though I'm drinking a little lately, I'm not drinking like that at all anymore. I mean, I'm too old, and it does hurt me kind of bad now. So getting hangovers is actually a positive thing, because that will straighten your ass out. That'll keep you from doing what I did. So start looking at your frequency of drinking, the amount you drink, and the reason you drink, drinking alone, and drinking because you got problems. Those are bad ones. If you're drinking because you're sad about something, or mad about something, or something went wrong, whatever it is, and that's why you're doing it, to lean on the booze, that is big time trouble. That is recipe for disaster. And also drinking alone. You're sitting all by yourself and you're just pounding back booze. Yep, you got troubles. You got problems there. So if you're doing any of those things, seek some help. Leave me a comment and I can talk to you about it. I mean, not from a place of preaching at all, from a place of extreme experience. Like, extreme experience. I can tell you all the reasons a person will drink. I can tell you all the problems that they'll cause for themselves, and tell you all the ways you can lose family and friends. You can lose a wife or a husband. You can have your kids turn their back on you. You name it. Alcohol is an amazing substance. It will destroy everything there is. It will take everything away from you that you ever cared about. I mean, most drugs will, but that one for sure. Alcohol is very efficient at doing that. And it's legal and accepted. So why is it such a problem? Because it's legal and accepted. If it was a contraband substance, then people wouldn't be as willing to destroy themselves with it. But because it's, socially acceptable, that's why people do what I did. And I have such shame and regret for all those years. I mean, wow. It's hard to believe the things I did. Liquid courage. Got to the point where I didn't want to go on stage unless I had a certain amount in me first. My liquid courage. I wouldn't approach a woman unless I had my liquid courage. And the beginning of every relationship I ever had, by the way, if we're going to have a relationship, you got to know I drink. That's what I would tell them right off the bat. Don't expect me not to drink. Don't tell me to cut down. If you say anything about my drinking, our relationship is over. That's what I would tell them. And surprisingly, every woman that I was ever with went along with that. And that's not actually why we ended up breaking up. It was always something else. But in other words, it was more important to me than anything was. The drinking was number one. It's like an old friend of mine said one time, he said, I got to go quit my job. And he did. And I said, why are you quitting your job? He goes, well, he says, there's the job and there's the drinking. They get in the way of each other. One of them got to go. Going to have to be the job. So he went and quit his job. That's true. That is absolutely true. That's the way I was. There was nothing that trumped drinking. There was nothing. That's how it becomes. You become so obsessed with it, especially if you're really good at it like I was. Nothing else matters anymore. So, I don't have a magic bullet for you if you're an alcoholic, if you have troubles. Like I say, maybe AA, maybe turn to a friend, the Lord. The Lord is what helps. I mean, there's no other way, really. I'd say that's the only thing that's really, truly going to help. Turn to the Lord and ask Him. And yeah, that's all I got in that respect. So, assess your drinking, assess the frequency, assess the amount, assess the reasons, and assess how important it is to you. Does it feel like if you quit, you're going to go right into depression like real alcoholics do? If you feel you will, then it's definitely time to do something about it. So, hope somebody got something out of this. I know and I rambled about myself a lot, but like I say, I'm the best example of a functioning alcoholic that's ever walked. I functioned perfectly on enough booze to float the Titanic. It's just weird how some of us end up doing that, but I'm glad those days are over. I don't want to do that anymore. And I hope you don't do it either, because it doesn't produce anything good, I promise. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Remember that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life.